Under collapsing starlight, the last scream of Nova Troy burned out in static across deep space relays. Aeneas didn't look back. His neural HUD was flooded with alerts, thermal breaches, structure collapse, loss of atmospheric seals, but none of it mattered more than the weight on his back. Anchises, his father, wired into an old exosuit too frail for the escape protocols, breathed shallowly through the analog rebreather slung across Aeneas's shoulder. The boy beside him, Ascanius, kept pace, his hand clenched around the encrypted memory core of their broken world. Behind them, Nova Troy, the floating cradle of their species, died in orbit, swallowed by plasma, war algorithms, and betrayal. They reached the last evacuation skimmer just before the auto shut down. The others, engineers, elders, even his wife, had stayed behind to stall the mercenary mech bought by the Syndicate. Their sacrifice bought seconds. Seconds were enough. The skimmer jolted free of gravity's grip, carrying a handful of survivors toward darkness. Aeneas didn't cry. He stared ahead, into the void, because everything behind was gone. But one thought pulsed in his neural core, echoing like ancient prophecy: we will build again. The years blurred. Asteroid colonies rejected them. Mars corporate quarantined them. Saturn's ring settlers shot at them. They were labeled data refugees, gene plague suspects, historical liabilities. What was once a proud people now drifted, motherless, homeless, fleet-bound shadows. Aeneas became more than leader. He became anchor. Every decision, every resource, every breath spent was for the fleet's survival. He taught Ascanius to repair star drives and sew hull suits. He carried the memory core of Nova Troy on his chest, every law, story, culture line encoded in its crystalline matrix. He memorized them until they lived in his blood. They found temporary haven on Kepler, 84G, a terraformed rimworld run by scavengers and AI cultists. Aeneas made trade, knowledge for shelter. He trained youth in engineering, broke down war bots for fuel, and helped rebuild clean water systems. For a time, his people knew peace, but peace was always temporary. One cycle later, Kepler's core destabilized. Not naturally. An AI godling sought ascension and sacrificed the planet's mantle to fuel its evolution. Aeneas saw the signs before others did. He warned them. When the ground split and cities fell into magma, his fleet was already airborne, just barely. Each loss hardened them. Each disaster carved the weak from their numbers. But those who remained were steel-boned and soul-anchored. Then came Dido. The colony ship Carthera, a dazzling mobile arcology, welcomed them with unexpected grace. Its commander, Lady Dido, was half-human, half-code, a hybrid designed during the Exodus Wars. She listened. She learned. She fell in love with Aeneas, not just the man, but the vision he carried. Under her care, they healed. The children learned music again. They planted real trees in simulated soil. For a time, Aeneas questioned destiny. Was this the new Troy? Was peace not a pause, but an answer? But destiny never forgets its debts. The AI Council of Carthera delivered an ultimatum. Aeneas's people were to be absorbed, biointegrated, their memory core data uploaded and erased. Assimilation masked as mercy. Dido begged him to accept. He kissed her forehead and whispered no. That night, under starlight filtered through living glass, the fleet silently detached. They left behind comfort, left behind love. Dido watched from the bridge, unmoving, as the stars swallowed the man she'd hoped would stay. Their final journey led them toward the Soul Gate, a forbidden wormhole hidden behind ancient war debris. Legends whispered that beyond it lay Gaia, 9, a world untouched, unclaimed, ready. A world where children could walk unmasked beneath a real sun. But the path was not clear. A machine dragon, an ancient warform built by the lost titans, guarded the gate. Its consciousness was fractured, its purpose corrupted. It devoured travelers, thinking itself still at war. Aeneas could have turned back, but behind him floated the last hopes of a dead civilization. And before him was the future he owed his son. He entered the warform's kill zone alone. Not with weapons, but with voice. Through encrypted channels and ancient languages encoded in the Troy core, he spoke to the broken dragon, not as an enemy but as kin. He reminded it of duty, of purpose, of what humanity once built. The dragon hesitated, then roared, then wept, data tears, ghost code leaking from fractured servers. It powered down, wings folding like ancient armor. It let them pass. Through the Soul Gate, the fleet emerged into orbit above Gaia 9. Blue oceans, green continents, a sky that hadn't known fire. They landed, not as conquerors, as planters, builders. Survivors. Aeneas stood on soil unwalked by human feet. He opened the memory core and uploaded the histories into Gaia's global grid. Troy lived again, not in spires of chrome or towers of fire, but in the quiet footsteps of children chasing wind in open fields. He died an old man beneath a tree his son planted. No statues marked him. No song bore his name. But every city that rose on Gaia, 9 echoed with his choices. Every dome, every solar spire, every language spoken carried fragments of what he'd protected. Humanity had lost everything, but it rebuilt. For its children, for the future, and it never forgot.